welcome to episode 9 of our yoga series in quarantine. It has been exactly 2 weeks since I posted my last video, and over those last 2 weeks I was dealing with a little bit of a sickness. Don't worry, not the coronavirus, but that left me with a depletion of energy that I don't think I saw coming or was prepared for. So I've been trying to have just a little bit of compassion for myself and for what I can accomplish during a day, in the same way that I would have compassion and love and understanding for any of you. So today we are back and we are going to be working with some binds. So big shoulder stretches, always remembering that there are lots of options in our yoga series, so don't feel like you have to even connect on any of these binds. We're just going to be practicing some different ways to come into these open shoulder stretches. And then at the end, we're going to do kind of a fun balancing pose that sometimes I can do and sometimes I can't. So I'll try and demonstrate and hopefully you guys can play along with me. So we'll go ahead and get started lying down on our backs. And here just taking a moment to connect with the breath. So feet can come up flat on the mat, knees are bent, and then maybe opening up into a butterfly position if that feels good. And then maybe taking your arms out at a T, bending at the elbows to come into more of a goalpost shape, and just feeling that opening along the chest. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, and a slow, controlled exhale. As you inhale, feel that belly soft, and exhale, let it all out. On the inhale, maybe feeling the belly rise, chest walls expand, rib cage rises, and exhale, release. On your next inhale, taking arms up overhead, legs come down long on the mat. Taking a deep inhale, giving yourself a nice full body stretch. And exhale, bringing knee into chest. Maybe rocking back and forth. Starting to massage out that lower back. Here, taking knees wide towards the shoulders, feet come up towards the ceiling, grabbing around the ankles, bottoms of the feet or around the big toe, and coming into happy baby. Again, here maybe rocking back and forth, or maybe finding stillness. Taking a deep breath in, and slow, controlled exhale. One more deep breath in, and exhale, release. Knees can come back into chest, giving yourself one more hug before starting to rock along the length of the spine. Eventually coming up through a seated position and around onto your hands and knees. So here, coming into our neutral tabletop, wrists are under shoulders, knees under hips, and starting with a few cat-cows. So on an inhale, hips lift, belly drops, chest comes forward. And exhale, leading with the hips, tail tucks, belly lifts, gaze comes underneath the legs. Inhale, coming forward into cow. And exhale, spine rounds, coming into cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Coming back to a neutral position. On an inhale, right toes step back and right leg lifts parallel to the mat. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Next inhale, right knee bends, swings around towards that right shoulder. And exhale, right leg straightens, bringing it around to the outside of that left foot. And then maybe gazing over your left shoulder. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Next inhale, right leg reaches straight back and then returns to the earth. On an inhale, left foot reaches back and left leg lifts parallel to the earth. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Next inhale, left knee bends, bringing it towards the left shoulder. And exhale, straightening that leg, bringing it around to the outside of the right foot. And gaze comes up over the right shoulder. Taking a deep breath in. And exhale. On an inhale, left leg lifts, coming back into a neutral tabletop position. Hands step a couple of inches in front of the shoulders, toes tuck, knees lift, hips up and back into our downward dog. Taking a deep breath in. And exhale. Here in your downward dog, if it feels tight in the shoulders, go ahead and walk those hands out more towards the edge of the mat, giving your shoulders a little bit more space so that head can hang heavy. Bending as much as you need to through the knees, maybe pedaling out the feet, and eventually finding stillness. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Heel toe your feet out towards the edge of the mat so you have a slightly wider stance, and then start walking your hands back towards your feet, ending up in a squat position at the back of your mat. So here, maybe shifting the weight from side to side, opening up through the hips, and then eventually resting in your comfortable squat. So maybe that's up on the toes, maybe the heels are down. It can be low like this or a little bit higher, whatever feels good with your hips. Right hand is going to come out at about a 45-degree angle to the outside of that right knee, and then left arm lifts up towards the ceiling. And exhale, coming around to the opposite hip crease. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. One more deep breath in and exhale. Coming out the way we came in, left arm reaches up towards the ceiling and then finds the earth in front of us, reaching out at a 45-degree angle towards that left knee. Right arm lifts up towards the ceiling. And exhale, wrapping that around towards the opposite hip crease. Taking a deep breath in. And exhale. One more deep breath in. And slow exhale. Inhale, right arm reaches back up towards the ceiling, and both hands can plant down on the mat in front of you, walking out this time into a plank position. Feet can come back in hip width distance apart, and then holding here for a breath in plank. Fingers are spread wide, palms pushing the mat away from you, heels reaching towards the back of the room. Taking a deep breath in, and exhale. Inhale, weight shifts forward onto the toes, knees softly down to the earth, core stays engaged. Taking a deep breath in, and then slowly with control lowering yourself all the way down to the mat. Arms can come out wide at a T. Right cheek finds the mat. Left hand can plant under the left shoulder, and then slowly start to roll onto the right shoulder and hip. Only go as far as feels comfortable for you. If this starts to hurt, loosen up on the shoulder stretch. This is a really deep shoulder stretch. But if you can go a little bit further, go ahead and roll onto that shoulder. And then feel free to step that left foot behind the right leg. And if it's available to you, go ahead and inhale, left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. And then maybe that left arm wraps around, finding the right hip crease. Taking a deep breath in, and exhale. One more deep breath in, and slow, controlled exhale. On an inhale, left hand reaches back up towards the ceiling, plants down underneath that left shoulder as you come around back onto your front side. This time, left hand can come out long at a T, right hand plants under the right shoulder, and starting to roll over onto that left hip and left shoulder, and then if it's available for you, stepping that right foot behind the left leg. Inhale, right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Again, if this is too much on the left shoulder, keep that right hand down for support. Otherwise, maybe wrapping that right hand around and reaching the left hip crease. Taking a deep breath in, and exhale. One more deep breath in, and a slow, controlled exhale. Coming back around to our front side, right arm reaches up towards the ceiling, then plants on the mat underneath that right shoulder. Coming around onto our front, both hands can come roughly along the side under your shoulders. Rolling the shoulders down and back, we're going to lift up into a cobra on the inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale, pushing up through tabletop, tucking the toes, and exhale, downward dog. Taking a few restorative breaths here in downward dog. Taking a deep inhale. And exhale. One more inhale. This time on the exhale, lifting up on the toes, bend the knees, and walk up to the top of the mat, meeting in forward fold. Here in forward fold, knees are bent, crown of head hangs heavy towards the earth, maybe grabbing opposite elbows, and just letting your spine release and lengthen. Taking a deep breath in, and exhale. One more deep breath in,
And slow exhale, letting it all out. On the next inhale, hands come to shins, halfway lift. Crown of head reaches towards the front of the room, gazes down at the mat. And exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, arms sweep up overhead, palms together. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands either at the shins or down on the mat. And exhale, fold. Plant the hands, stepping back into plank. Holding our plank for the inhale. And exhale. On the next inhale, weight shifts forward on the toes. Knees slowly down to the mat, core stays engaged. Untuck the toes, taking a deep breath in. And exhale, lowering a couple of inches towards the mat. Inhale, push back up. Exhale, lowering a couple of inches. Inhale, push back up. You can either skip this and go all the way down to the mat, or if you'd like, on the exhale, lowering to 90 degrees and hold. This is your chaturanga. If you choose to take this later in class, we don't go any lower than 90 degrees, and then lowering down to the mat. On an inhale, lifting up into cobra, and exhale, release. Tucking the toes, pushing up either through tabletop or straight to plank, and exhale, downward dog. Here, once again, walking our feet out to the edge of the mat, and then starting to walk our hands back into our squat position. This time in our squat, right hand reaches out at 45 degrees. On an inhale, left hand lifts towards the ceiling. And exhale, left hand wraps around to the right hip crease. And maybe that right hand lifts up off the earth and wraps around the outer of the right leg and reaches for the clasp. Taking a deep breath in. And exhale. Here, most important thing is that chest stays lifted. Taking a deep breath in. And exhale. Coming out the way we came in, right hand reaches for the outer edge of that right leg. Left arm reaches up towards the ceiling and then plants back down on the earth. Going over to the other side, left hand reaches out at a 45-degree angle. Inhale, right hand reaches up towards the ceiling. And then if it's available, wrapping that right arm around to the opposite hip crease. And then maybe reaching that left hand around to find the bind. Again, here, chest stays open towards the right side of the room. If you feel yourself caving in towards center, then maybe release the hands so that you can stay open through those shoulders. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. One more deep breath in and exhale, release. Left hand comes back to the earth, right arm reaches up towards the ceiling and back around towards center. This time we'll walk out to our downward dog. Finding our downward dog and taking a deep breath in and exhale. Next inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. And exhale, knee to chest, coming forward into our lunge. Here, setting up in our lunge, knee is roughly over ankle. Chest is lifted, gaze comes forward. Taking a deep breath in. And exhale. On the next inhale, we're going to lift up into crescent. If you feel more stable, you can heel toe out a couple of inches towards the edge of the mat, giving yourself almost more of like railroad track legs. Shoulders are down away from the ears. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. From here, we're going to come around into Skandasana. So your hands are going to come down to the inside of that right foot, and then walking along the long edge of the mat, toes turn out, left toes 45 degrees towards the corner of the mat, coming into our low Skandasana lunge. Here, hands can either be on the earth or at heart center, or again, that left hand could come out and right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. On the next inhale, coming back around towards the front edge of the mat, hopping up onto those back toes and lifting back up into our crescent lunge. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Back foot plants on the mat parallel to the short edge. Coming into our warrior two. Hips are facing towards the side of the room. Arms come out at a T. Gaze comes over those front fingertips. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Inhale, front palm flips up towards the ceiling. Right arm reaches up and then slightly side bending towards the back of the room. Here in reverse warrior, that front knee stays bent. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Next inhale brings us back through warrior two, shifting a little bit forward, coming into side angle. Right forearm comes down above the right knee. Left arm circles around, maybe comes up overhead, or maybe that left hand reaches down and around, finding that right hip crease. So here's where we have options. If you'd like to find a bind here, go ahead and drop that right hand, palm facing up, underneath that right thigh, and then left hand might come around and clasp. Here, the biggest thing is to make sure that chest stays open. If you find yourself dropping that left shoulder down towards the earth, then maybe let go of the bind and just reach towards those hands. Feeling strength through that right leg. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. When you're ready to release, go ahead and windmill hands back down to the earth, framing that right leg in lunge. Plant the hands, right leg shifts up and back into our three-legged dog, and then right knee bends, hip opens towards the side of the room. If you'd like to take your vinyasa, we can shift forward into plank. On the inhale, we shift forward onto the toes. Exhale, lowering either to the earth or to 90 degrees. Inhaling into our back bend of choice. And exhale, downward dog. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Doing all that on the left. Inhale, left leg lifts for three-legged dog. And exhale, coming forward into lunge. If your foot doesn't quite make it into your lunge, go ahead and lift it up with your left hand and bring it forward. Here, setting up in lunge, chest is lifted, taking a deep breath in, and exhale. Setting up for crescent, if you'd like to take that wider stance, on the inhale, lifting up into our crescent lunge. Taking a deep breath in, and exhale. Here, back leg is lifted. Heels pressing towards the back of the room. Shoulders down away from the ears. Taking a deep breath in, and exhale. Coming around once again into our Skandasana. We're going to bring both hands to the inside of the left foot, walking along the long edge of the mat. Right toes turn out 45 degrees, and then coming into our low Skandasana on the right. Hands can come to heart center. They can stay down on the earth for support. On that right foot, you can either be flat on the mat or up on the toes. And then if you'd like, right hand can come out at an angle. Left hand reaches up towards the ceiling. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. One more deep breath in and exhale. Coming back around to the front of the mat, popping up onto those right toes and lifting back up into our crescent lunge. Here, back foot plants down on the mat, warrior two position. Hips turn towards the side of the room, and we open up into our warrior two. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Here, pausing to make sure that our hips are staying, shoulders are staying over hips, so we're not leaning too far forward or too far back. And make sure to breathe. On your next inhale, left palm slip up towards the ceiling, reaching up towards the ceiling, and then getting that slight bend all along the left side body. Gaze can come down towards the mat if that feels better on your neck. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. You see, for me, I tend to come out of the lunge here in reverse warrior, so maybe coming back a couple of inches into that front leg. And then we'll come up through warrior two, weight shifts forward, left forearm above the left knee, right arm circles up overhead, and then maybe that right arm comes around, finding that left hip crease. You can play with the amount of strength that you're using in your legs if you want to drop that left hand down towards the left ankle, or maybe it comes underneath the leg looking for that bind. Shaking out that front leg at any time, and then again making sure chest stays open so we're not bending down between the legs to clasp the hands. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and release. Right arm reaches up towards the ceiling, and then coming around, framing that left foot, coming back into lunge. Planting those hands on the mat, left knee comes into chest, and lifting back up into three-legged dog. Hip opens towards the side of the room. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. If you'd like to take your vinyasa, inhale shifts forward into plank, exhale lowering, inhale into your back bend of choice, and exhale downward dog. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. One more deep breath in and exhale, release. Next time on the inhale, right leg lifts. This time bending the knee, shifting forward, planting that right foot on the outside of the right hand into lunge. So here we're going to come into our lizard pose. So if you'd like to drop that back knee can always stay lifted for added strength. And then here, if this is enough of a hip stretch for you, go ahead and stay here. Otherwise, continuing to squeeze that right knee into shoulder, you can go ahead and lower onto forearms, coming a little closer to the earth. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Here, if it feels better, the toes could turn out maybe at like a 45-degree angle. For me, that feels a little bit more natural. And continuing to breathe. One more deep inhale and exhale. Slowly coming out of this position, coming back up onto our hands, back toes tuck, lifting up into our lunge, and then that right leg floats around, lifting back up into three-legged dog before returning to the earth. On an inhale, left leg lifts, and exhale, knee to chest, before planting on the outside of that left hand into lunge. From here, back knee can lower, and then maybe staying here with chest lifted, or maybe coming down onto our forearms, keeping that knee relatively hugged in towards the shoulder, and maybe that foot turns out at a slight angle. Taking a deep breath in, and slow, controlled exhale. Taking a couple of breaths here in our lizard. One more deep breath in, and exhale. Slowly coming back onto our hands, back toes tuck under, back knee lifts, and this time, instead of stepping back into our downward dog, we're going to step that right foot forward to the outside of our right hand, coming into a little bit of a lunge, but this time staying up a little bit higher than before when we were fully in our low squat. So you can stay at the top of your mat. I'm going to turn around here to face you. And here's where we're going to play a little bit with a bind in a balancing posture.
So if you would like, and all of this is optional, only take it as far as feels comfortable in your body, as always, but especially for balances like this. So if you would like, left hand can come out at a 45-degree angle, right arm reaches towards the ceiling, wrapping around to the opposite hip crease, and then left hand can come under the leg, reaching for that bind in our high squat. Left foot can heel toe more to center underneath that left hip, the right foot, finding grounding through that right foot. Maybe we stay here, or maybe we slowly lift that left foot off the ground. Sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't. Coming into our bird of paradise. So this is a difficult bind in and of itself. If you want to stay here, take a couple of breaths, or maybe play around with straightening that left leg. And when you tip over, go ahead and come back into your squat, releasing that bind. Right arm reaches up towards the ceiling, and then coming around into a wide-legged forward fold. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Setting up your feet once again, coming back into that high squat. Right arm can come out at an angle, left arm reaches up towards the ceiling, wrapping around to that opposite hip crease before that right hand reaches underneath the leg and maybe finds a clasp. Left foot, heel toes in underneath the hip, grounding through that left foot, and then maybe once again lifting up onto that leg. If you've gotten this far, this is perfectly fine. Otherwise, if you feel stable in this balance, maybe go ahead and play with straightening that right foot. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. And when you've had enough fun, go ahead and lower that foot to the earth, releasing the bind. Left hand reaches up towards the ceiling. And once again, coming in to our wide-legged forward fold. Here, having a slight bend in the knees. Maybe bringing those hands down to the lower part of the neck and just giving yourself a little bit of traction as the crown of head hangs towards the earth. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Deep breath in and exhale. Go ahead and heel toe your feet about hip width distance apart, and then we'll come down onto our knees and come around into a seated position. So here, just going to close with a couple of seated stretches. Since we did a lot of hip opening and shoulder opening, just want to bring everything sort of back into center and start to calm down our breathing and our nervous systems. So left knee can come into chest, and maybe it stays here on the inside of that right thigh or crossing over that right leg, wrapping that right arm around, and then maybe that left hand comes behind the back. Taking a deep breath in and exhale.
On each inhale, feel that spine lengthen, sitting tall. And exhale, melting into that twist. Right foot can be either pointed or flexed. Maybe you roll out the ankle. And taking a few deep breaths. When you're ready, go ahead and unwind. Taking that left leg down onto the earth. Right leg comes into chest. And then here again, either planting on the inside of the left leg or crossing over. Left elbow wraps around the knee. And right arm reaches behind. On the inhale, lifting up tall, and exhale, twist. Being careful not to strain the neck. Taking a deep breath in, and exhale. Again, with that left foot that's out straight, go ahead and flex. Or point, maybe circle out the ankle. Taking a couple more breaths here. When you're ready, go ahead and unwind. Coming into just an easy seated position, we'll go ahead and close here in a seated posture. So right hand can come to heart, left hand to belly. Taking a deep breath in for 4. Pausing at the top. And exhale to the count of 8. One more time, inhale for 4. Pause at the top. And exhale for 8. Thank you for practicing with me this evening. In case anybody is curious about music, so for legal reasons, I cannot put music to practice on YouTube without getting permission. So if anyone is interested in some playlists, I do have some pre-created playlists with music that goes really well with these types of flows. I'd be happy to send them to you on Apple Music if you want to go ahead and shoot me a note, or I can just give song recommendations that I use when I'm putting these flows together. So talk to you guys soon. Bye.